This is an arid landscape where nature appears faint with pastel tones and where greenery peeks out here and there, losing its intensity in the heat. This is the famous desert of Judea, mentioned in the biblical narrative of the New and the Old Testament as one of the most beautiful landscapes of the Holy Land. The desert region is located a few kilometers from Jerusalem. Starting from the Holy City and going in the direction of the Dead Sea, one can admire the mountainous landscape in which the Arab Bedouin nomad communities live. An area of 1,500 square kilometers, bordered by the mountains of Judea and the Dead Sea, a land rich in natural reserves, mountains, peaks, and riverbeds. Some of the typical animals of this region are the camels, very common in this region. Resistant to heat, camels can hold on to water and energy to cross the desert, and they are also a tourist attraction.
I enjoyed it. It's really different from taking a horse to taking a camel. It's too high. If you're afraid of heights, I don't advise, but you should conquer it because it's really a good experience.
A visit to these arid landscapes is also part of the itinerary of pilgrimages.
It's an awesome experience. It's very nice to stay here and to see what had happened in the past. At first we are just reading it in the Bible, and now we're here. Oh, it's such an awesome experience.
We really enjoy here in the desert. Yeah, we also feel the presence of God here.
The presence of God was already perceived in this place millennia ago, since the beginning of the history of God's people.
A Bíblia, praticamente, ela nasce no meio do deserto, a gente pode dizer.
The Bible started out essentially in the desert. The Old Testament reveals in the first place the figure of Abraham, who seeks hope in his task of building a nation. Later in the history of Israel, we see the figure of Moses in the first desert experience, not as an escape, but with the question to God, "Who are you? Where do I go?"
Mas como aquela pergunta, quem és tu? Para onde eu vou?
God commanded him to lead the people to the promised land. Therefore, the Israelites wandered through the wilderness for 40 years.
E ele vai diante da corte para a libertação.
He agreed to lead his people for their liberation, and this resulted in the encounter with God in the desert.
Do encontro com Deus.
John the Baptist, whose mission was to prepare the coming of the Messiah, probably lived here. The desert is located on the shores of the Jordan River, where John preached repentance and forgiveness of sins, and where Jesus was baptized. After being baptized, Jesus went through a powerful experience in the desert.
Ele faz 40 dias a experiência logo depois do batismo no
Immediately after his baptism here in the Holy Land, and for 40 days, Jesus went through a powerful experience in the desert where he was tempted by the devil. This experience was a preparation for the great temptations of the world, the temptation to be more, to have more, and the temptation of power.
A tentação do poder.
The place where this Christ's life event took place is the Mount of Temptation, on which a Greek Orthodox monastery now stands. The image of the desert has become one of the main symbols of the Holy Land. It is still fascinating for its significant physical features and for its relevance in the Holy Scriptures. As reported by the prophet Hosea, the desert is not a place of suffering, escape, or danger, but the encounter with love of God for his people.
Então, em Oséias,
The book of Hosea chapter 2 verse 16 says, "Therefore, behold, I will seduce her and lead her into the desert and speak to her heart." Then in verse 21 he says, "I will make you my wife forever. I will betroth you in uprightness and justice, in love and tenderness."